This video presentation will explore how the Global Project Management Framework can be applied in conjunction with the Project Management Body of Knowledge, or PMBOK. The video will cover 4 key practices in the Global Project Management Framework and detail how these practices are linked to the PMBOK. First, we'll begin with an outline of the 2 frameworks. The Global Project Management Framework was developed by Mr. Gene Binder. It is a comprehensive framework of good practice on global project management, focusing on soft skills and informal project management. The framework provides a guide for developing and implementing a global project management framework for a company or project. PMBOK is developed by PMI. It is a standard that evolved from a recognized good practices of project management practitioners who contributed to the formation of the standard. It defines project management and related concepts and describes the project management lifecycle and related processes. PMBOK is a guide rather than a handbook, and it can be readily applied to projects in various industries. The first practice we will detail is trust building. PMBOK discusses trust building in projects in the context of project team development and stakeholder management. Both of these areas are part of the executing process group in PMBOK. It identifies developing a climate of mutual trust in a team as essential for building a high-performance team. Mutual trust is also essential to capitalizing on the cultural differences of team members, allowing team members to work together interdependently. Tools recommended by PMBOK for building team trust include informal communications, informal team activities, and personal assessment tools. In regards to stakeholder management, PMBOK highlights the importance of project managers applying interpersonal skills to manage stakeholder expectations. Trust building is identified as one of these skills, and the text describes 11 actions that project managers can take to build trust.
Conflict is defined as the process that begins when 2 or more parties have different points of view. Many particular conflicts are created based upon the resource availability that might help reflect different types of priorities such as cost, time, scope, and quality. On the other hand, when discussing conflict over global projects, it is possible to say that with the probability of stakeholders having different views on customer satisfaction, difference on reactions upon change of particular project risk management approaches, conflict can increase. An advantage when dealing with global conflicts can be the non-face-to-face interactions. It is believed that conflict is also a strategic process needed sometimes, as it helps when having to generate creative outcomes, increase in innovation, and even lower the possibilities of stagnation in a project. PMBOK defines the important care that must be given to projects when having to manage stakeholders. For instance, it says that there must be sufficient responsibilities on behalf of the project manager to be able to control all of the needs from the stakeholders, as we, as their spectators, which in many ways can be difficult as particular stakeholders may have differences or conflicting objectives. Some of the most relevant sources of conflicts can be defined as cultural differences among stakeholders, differences in behavior, differences in language, incompatible views, meeting times, different views of strategies and techniques to be performed. Constant review upon the above concerns when discussing conflicts should be performed as a way to give awareness to the project manager on what could be the major concerns for the project. A good communication planning process should be considered in terms of good management of conflict for global projects when there might be the risk identification processes such as brainstorming exercises where you should intend to analyze the intra-country aspects of the project and the inter-country aspects of the project as well. Intra-country referring by when the conflict appears among stakeholders sharing the same country or culture, or inter-country by when the reasons of conflict might relate to different cultures. PMBOK mentions that even though there might be a lot of planning into trying to prevent conflict in global projects, it is almost impossible to deny that conflict is inevitable in a project environment. Particular responses must consider the adaptation of the project managers into performing the following steps. First, acting as a mediator. Second, appointing third-party arbitrators. Third, questioning the situations. Assess the situations, define a strategy, prepare a situation, start the discussion, resolve the situation, document and communicate the situations, and finally, document the lessons learned. The success of project managers into managing their team in many cases relates to their ability to resolve conflict. PMBOK specifies some particular techniques relevant when resolving conflict. First, withdraw or avoid, meaning the project manager is able to retreat from an actual potential conflictive situation, or is able to transfer the issues to someone who could take care of the problems in a more delicate and professional way. Smooth/accommodate. Provide an emphasis on the areas of agreement rather than the areas of conflict. Third, compromise or reconcile. Search for a solution that might help bring some types of satisfaction for every party involved in the conflict. 4. Force or direct. Be able to punish someone's viewpoint at the expenses of others. And finally, collaborate or problem solving. Be able to collate multiple viewpoints and insights from different perspectives to solve the problem. The main purpose of generating a good communication strategy is to ensure that there is the main interest in the parties to work together to define the strategy. Some particular steps should be to consider when having to implement a good communication strategy, and they must relate to identify the different types of information needed to communicate, gather the communication requirements for the key stakeholders, determine how the communication will be effective and how it will happen. It is well defined that effective communication is what creates good bridges in between a big diverse of stakeholders who may have different cultural or organizational backgrounds, even different levels of experiences or expertise, and may have different types of interests. A general overview of a good communication process should be to follow the following steps. Identify the adequate plan of communication management that will include the process of developing an adequate approach or plan for the project communication based on GANA of information from stakeholders. Second, manage communications that will be the review of the project managers and coordinators to produce specific project performances and strategies in accordance with the communication management plan. Additional sub-processes might relate to this particular section, where there might be an intended need to perform project status, project records, status of work packages, project organization, logistics, different standards and templates, and finally, control communications, that will be the process of monitoring and controlling such information throughout the entire project life cycle as a way to ensure the information needed by the stakeholders has been met. It is well known that project managers spend most of their time communicating with other team members as well as other stakeholders, whether they are internal within the organization or external for the organization. And it is a must to prepare a matrix of requirements during the communication planning process, as it will help keep the activities on track and have a clear understanding of the strategies to change for particular stakeholders.
Collaborative tools. This key practice focuses on implementing tools to foster collaboration between project team members on global projects. In PMBOK, collaborative tools are discussed in relation to project team development and communications management, both part of the executing process group. PMBOK states that collaborative work management tools can be used to manage and distribute project information. No specific guidance is, however, provided regarding how these tools are developed or implemented. It is in the Global Project Management Framework that details on both the approach to developing and implementing collaborative tools are discussed. Here we will cover a few of these tools. The use of interactive audio and video is explored, and guidelines are provided for establishing procedures detailing how teams can effectively use these systems. Technologies for knowledge sharing and collaborative projects management software, both essential tools for establishing a collaborative team, are also discussed. These tools provide team members with access to project and organizational information and provide a common platform for all team members to use. The Global Project Management Framework provides a systematic means of implementing these tools, which consists of the following steps. Understand the technological alternatives, evaluate the existing tools, implement the changes required, prepare documentation and procedures for the new structure, and undertake post-implementation evaluation. The framework highlights that companies must establish conditions for collaboration and communication systems to be employed. They can do this by ensuring that the systems fit with the organization or project strategy, structure, culture, processes, and information system infrastructure.
Furthermore, we can say that the two frameworks are complementary. Neither provides industry-specific or one-size-fits-all information. They rather act as guides to assist the practitioners to apply good practices to their projects. And we can define as well that communication planning is an essential technique needed when having to track activities and to have a clear understanding of the strategies needed by the stakeholders. With an effective use of the following two frameworks, good bridges can be made in between different stakeholders.